guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm actually going to be doing Instagram followers choose my makeup. Now, I've been wanting to do this for so long because I feel like it's kind of cool to get you guys involved in my videos. So what I did was I reached out to you guys via my Instagram stories. I did a series of polls giving you guys the option between two different products within each kind of makeup step. And I did choose these products so that you guys had the opportunity to sabotage me or be really nice and let me use products that I know and love, and colors and shades and all of that. And for some reason, you guys must really like me because you happen to choose a lot of my favorite products. So this video is going to hopefully go pretty well based on what I've seen so far from the poll results. Now, I actually had a look on YouTube prior to filming this video to see if I could find who the original creator of this concept was. And not only could I not figure that out, but I also realized that I am 8 months late to this trend. So typical Erin, jumping on the bandwagon, filming a trend YouTube video 8 months late. What more can you expect, honestly? Anyways, guys, without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, so for primer, I actually gave you guys the option between two primers that I actually really like. So this wasn't a huge deal for me. But I honestly, I was going through my collection and there wasn't really a primer that I didn't like. So I just chose two that I'd be happy to use. So the options were the Too Faced Hangover Primer or the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Primer. And you guys chose the Too Faced Hangover. You guys know I love this. I am an absolute fan. I think I have like 4 or 5 bottles of this in my drawer. I go through it so quick because I don't know. I like to drown my face in it before I do my makeup. So thank you guys for choosing one of my all-time faves. Even though, I mean, I would have been happy with the Fenty primer anyway, but it's nice to put a little bit of a pina colada smelling product on your face every now and then. Okay, so now for foundation, I gave you guys the option between the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, which if you've been watching me for a while, I am not a huge fan of that foundation. It doesn't look great on my skin. And then I chose one of my all-time favorites, which is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. And this was a really close one. It was like 49-51, but you guys must know me really well because you chose the NARS foundation. So we're gonna go in with that today. Funnily enough, guys, so when I actually put these polls up on Instagram, I did it a couple of weeks ago and I'm only now just getting the chance to film this video. But when I originally did those polls, my opinion on the Too Faced Born This Way foundation was that I just did not like it. I had tried it a couple of times, and I've just never, ever liked how it looked on my skin. But then I saw Casey, you guys should know my friend Casey. She went on the Too Faced Tutti Frutti brand trip over to California, and she used it for the first time in ages on that trip. And she was like me, she wasn't really a fan of it, but she came back from that trip absolutely loving it. So it inspired me to try the foundation again. And guys, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, I kind of like it. So honestly, no matter what you guys would have chosen for this poll, I probably would have been okay with it. But at the time, Too Faced was going to be the sabotage. All right, now moving on to concealer. I gave you guys the option between two concealers, which I actually don't mind. But the trick was that the Urban Decay concealer is way too light for me. I don't know why I even have this shade. I think the shade is fair and it's like almost white. It's so pale. So that was going to be the sabotage, but you guys ended up choosing the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer anyway. Again, you guys know me really well. You know I love my NARS products, so that is what we're going to go in with today. By the way, guys, considering the theme of this video is Instagram, I can't believe I haven't even given my page a shout out yet, or my unfiltered page. So I have 2 Instagram pages now. One is like my normal Instagram, which is just Erin Scott Beauty. And then I have my unfiltered, kind of just like taking the piss out of myself Instagram, which is Erin Snot Booty. Feel free to follow either of them if you would like. I'm trying to post quite frequently at the moment, and I don't know, I really wanted to try and focus more on my Instagram content this year. So yeah, feel free to come over and join the Gram fam. There's always a lot happening over there on Instagram stories and whatnot, so come on over and join the fun. I feel like this whole frame right now is looking very ghostly. My arms. Wow, I thought that foundation was going to be way too dark for me, but it is too light. That's so weird. I must kind of have like a natural tan at the moment because that shade is usually not my natural pale shade. Next up, I gave you guys the option between two under eye setting powders. The first one was the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, which I'm actually not a fan of. I don't know what it is. I feel like it kind of makes my under eyes look darker and it doesn't give me like the brightness that the title kind of claims to. I much prefer the like standard Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I think that actually does a much better job under my eyes. And then the second option was the Maybelline Master Fix translucent setting powder. You guys chose the Laura Mercier setting powder, so we're gonna go in with that today. I mean, this isn't like a huge sabotage, but it's only setting powder and they're both translucent, so we'll make it work. Also, little fun fact for you guys here in Australia, Laura Mercier is coming to Mecca, which is so exciting. We used to be able to get it in Maya, I think, and then they pulled out. Do you see what I mean about like, I don't know, I feel like it just makes these areas look extra dark. It doesn't really brighten. All right, now for setting powder, I actually gave you guys the option between the NARS Beach Pressed Powder and the Maybelline Fit Me Pressed Powder. And you guys chose the NARS one. I actually really like both of them, so I'm not too sure what I was thinking. Maybe I was like high-end drugstore. It would be interesting to see which one you guys prefer. The results came in at 55 to 45, so it was kind of close, but it seems like you guys just understand my NARS obsession and wanted me to live out my NARS dreams in this video. This powder is looking really, really sad at the moment. I don't have a lot of it left. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I didn't include eyebrows in the poll. Do you know why? I never include eyebrows when I do a makeup tutorial, so I think in my mind I just skipped that step. Maybe after this step, I'll jump off camera and just quickly do them. All right, brows are done and they're looking dark AF because I actually left precisely my brow at Casey's house last week when I was in Sydney. So all I've got is shade 2, which is too light for me, or shade 3.5, which is like slightly too dark. So we're just gonna have to deal with dark brows today. But moving on, the next step is bronzer, and I gave you guys the option between a Tom Ford bronzer or an Hourglass bronzer. The Tom Ford bronzer, I'm actually not a fan of. I feel like it's a really, really dark bronzer, and especially today, like it would have looked extremely, extremely like orange on my skin. So thankfully you guys went with the Hourglass bronzer. So far we're doing really well. Like the only product that I've had to use that I'm not a huge fan of was the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, and like that's pretty tame. So far so good. You guys are just so nice, too nice. All right, we're not looking like as much of a ghost anymore. So next up is blush. I gave you guys the option between an Hourglass blush and a Maybelline blush, and again you guys chose Hourglass. The Fit Me blush was actually really, really pink. That's why I put it up against the Hourglass, just because I feel like it would have given me like really, really rosy clown cheeks. So I'm kind of glad that you guys went with Hourglass, not only because Hourglass is one of my favorite brands, but because of the color as well. So this is the color that we're using today. It's called Brilliant Nude. Last week while I was in Sydney, I actually went to the Mance Clinic in Paddington and got my Botox redone. Can you tell? And also I got filler for the first time, just like super, super natural. So I don't know if you guys can even tell the difference, but I got a little bit in my cheeks, a little bit in my lips, and a little bit in my chin. The vlog from that day should be up on my vlog channel now. So if it is, I'll leave it linked down below. But the whole reason I'm bringing that up is because I feel like I just love putting makeup on my cheeks now. Not that I didn't before, but I just feel like I look a little bit more contoured naturally because of the filler in my cheeks. And like, you guys know I've always enjoyed doing highlighter. Oh my God, I am like even more obsessed with how highlight looks on my cheekbones now. It's kind of crazy. All right, so speaking of highlighter, I gave you guys the option between the Too Faced Love Light Prismatic Highlight or the Fenty Kilowatt highlight, and it was a close one, but you guys chose Too Faced, which I was pretty surprised with. I don't know, I was expecting people to choose Fenty. So we're going with Too Faced Love Light Blinded by the Light Highlighter. I have to admit, I'm not that much of a huge fan. Let's see, maybe today will change my mind. It's definitely pretty. I just feel like it kind of shows up a little bit glittery on my skin. It is a very pretty color though. It kind of makes your skin look wet, but up close it does look a little bit like grainy, glittery type thing. Next up, we've got eye primer, and I didn't really know how to do this because in my eyes, like an eye primer is an eye primer. I don't necessarily think there's like a bad eye primer versus a good one. So I decided to give you guys the option between the Fenty Pro Filter eye primer or just no eye primer altogether. So that could have been a pretty big sabotage if you guys chose no eye primer, but instead you guys went with the Fenty eye primer. So let's quickly pop this on my lids and then we can move on to eyeshadow. So eyeshadow is where I started to get a little bit too confident, I think, because I started giving you guys some pretty crazy options for the poll. So for eyeshadow, I let you guys pick between the Urban Decay Electric palette or the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. And thankfully, the Born to Run palette won by far. Like, we were pretty safe there. So thank you guys, because I honestly don't know what I would have done if I had to just use the electric palette. Like, it would have been fun, but it would have been a challenge. So I am a huge fan of this palette. So I'm actually really excited to have a play around with it again today. I think I'm going to start off with the shade Weekender and run that through my crease. And I'm feeling kind of like pinky purpley vibes today because it is currently Valentine's Day. So I think what I'm going to do is take Still Shot, which is this gorgeous corally color here, and I'm going to run that through my crease. Okay, so I just realized I was going to go in with this one next, but I just realized it's a little bit of like a shimmery color. So I think what I'm going to do is take this shade here, which is called Stranded, and maybe we're going to go more in like the coppery orangey direction. This color is bright, very bright, a lot brighter than what I thought it was going to be. I think we can make this work. It's just gonna be a very fiery look now. All right, so next up I'm gonna take a mix of Punk and Riff. They are two quite different types of browns, but I'm hoping that they'll kind of like work together and help to reduce the brightness of this orange that's in my crease. All right, I feel like I've managed to save this from becoming like a neon orange fire pit on my eye. All right, so next up I'm gonna go in with this shade here, which is called Accelerate. And I'm gonna pack that onto the outer corner of my eye, kind of blending it into the outer corner towards like the middle. Actually, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of Double Life with that as well, which is the one directly below it. Okay, so I'm bringing those colors kind of like 2/3 of the way around my lid. And then I'm gonna pick up Ignite, which is this beautiful bronzy gold, and place that on the rest of my eyelid. All right, I feel like we've managed to save this look. It's just turned out extra smoky and not Valentine's-y at all. And then for my inner corner, I'm just gonna finish it off with the color Stranded. Okay, so now for winged eyeliner. I told you guys I was getting a little bit too confident here. I actually asked you guys to choose between the Fenty Liquid Fly Liner or the Too Faced Sketch Marker in the color Emerald, which is a green. But you guys ended up choosing the Fenty Liquid Liner. So let's do some wings. I actually really like this winged liner. The tip on it is like insanely good. It's so easy to work with. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's move on to mascara. So for this one, I gave you guys the option between the Better Than Sex mascara or the Smashbox Superfan mascara, and you guys chose Born This Way. I think at the time of doing this poll, I'd never used the Superfan mascara, so I guess I just wasn't really sure whether it'd be good or not. So next up, I gave you guys the option between falsies or no falsies. I felt like giving you just like two different styles of falsies to choose from would have been boring. So we went with falsies or no falsies. 69% of you guys actually chose falsies. So I am going to quickly slap on some of my all-time faves. These are the Ardell Foam Ink Wispies. All right, we're getting so close to the end. Basically, for lips, what I did was I gave you guys pretty much the option between like hot pink lips or nude lips. So for lip liner, I got you to choose between MAC Candy Yum Yum or MAC Boldly Bare. And then for lipstick, I got you to choose between a Lipstick Queen nude lipstick or Fenty Candy Venom. Now I did this on two separate polls, so it meant that like potentially you guys could have really screwed me over with the hot pink lip liner and then a nude lipstick, or the other way around, but you didn't. You guys are seriously too nice. I even like tried to confuse you by putting like the nude lip liner on the left hand side and then the nude lipstick on the right hand side, thinking that maybe that would catch you guys out, but you guys are too smart. So we ended up with 66% on MAC Boldly Bare and 68% on the Lipstick Queen nude lip. So that's what we're gonna do. And then last but not least, we've got setting spray. So I gave you guys the option between Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray or the Urban Decay All Nighter. I'm a huge fan of All Nighter, but Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray, I've used it maybe like once or twice, and both times my face has ended up looking like glittery. I was really hoping you guys would choose All Nighter, and you did. It is a cult fave. I feel like this is everyone's favorite setting spray, So we are done. You guys were like way too nice to me in this video. I feel like I got away with quite a lot. Like I got really lucky because yeah, towards the end, those polls were getting a little bit risky. Like it could have gone the complete opposite. So thank you guys for being so nice. If you enjoyed this video, then definitely give it a big thumbs up. I want to see if we can get this video to 500 likes. I think the most I've ever gotten was like 600 likes, and that was on a video that went kind of viral. Like I think it was popping up on everyone's recommendation pages. So yeah, let's try and get this one to 500 likes. If you're not subscribed already, feel free to become a part of the family by hitting the red subscribe button down below. And yeah, I will see you guys in another 3 days time for my next upload. Bye guys.